Hey folks, Dave the Not So Evil Viking 13 here, and welcome back to what's not quite the Confederate Republic, here in the Brothers vs. Brothers mod in Empire Total War. You will notice that I am of course playing as the Union for once. And you're actually looking at the first Battle of Manassas, which is better known in the South as the first Battle of Bull Run. Now, the reason you guys are seeing this instead of the campaign map, and the reason that Empire Total War and this specific series has been so delayed in the last month is because I have some bad news. Unfortunately, this mod is incomplete, that is the Brothers vs. Brothers mod, and it has a known issue where at a certain point in your campaign, the save game will just crash to desktop, either when you end your turn, or begin an attack, or in my case, just load it once again. I've actually been very surprised that I haven't hit this game-ending crash just yet. Like I said, it's very well known with this mod that this will happen at some point as you play, and we actually got really far into the Confederate Republic. If you guys remember to just a few months ago, we achieved a political victory by taking Washington, D.C. and forcing the Union to surrender. You guys voted to continue, and since then, we've been working on our military victory. And I think that military victory was close at hand. The Union put up a good fight and actually killed Stonewall Jackson and took back DC, but only briefly. That was kind of their last hurrah. Since then, General Lee and the rest of my generals have been just burning their way north towards New York. And I believe we had also already captured western New York. From what I had seen from scouting the fog of war, they really had no strong forces left. They were still somehow building militia and cavalry, and a lot of generals too, but the writing was definitely on the wall. The campaign probably only had a handful of episodes left in it, so I am more than okay with it ending here, especially if I can stop trying to resurrect this save game, which, like I said, is just refusing to stop crashing. So unfortunately guys, this is how the campaign will end, but I'm just going to go ahead and claim that military victory, and I think you guys will agree. But there are also a handful of these one-off battles you can play. They're not quite scenarios, but you can set up a single-player fight and have these big historical battles. For this one, I am playing as General Irvin McDowell, and my ally is just a random general because they didn't have Winfield Scott or Robert Patterson as options for the generals, and those are the two Union commanders, two other Union commanders. We're going to be fighting against General Beauregard and General Johnston on the Confederate side. This first Battle of Bull Run, fought in the very northern parts of Virginia, was the first major battle of the American Civil War. And it was kind of a mess, mostly militia, untrained for both sides, just slugging it out there at Manassas. Historically, this battle was a Confederate victory, but because I've played most of the campaign as the Confederacy, I am changing things up here and playing as the USA, and we're going to try and change history once again in a different way this time, and try and have the Union win the first Battle of Bull Run. From what I can tell, they have modified the values for these battles, and if you crank things up to the late time period, your cannons and your infantry have some pretty ridiculous ranges. I've also turned up the troop, unit sizes, so there's going to be an insane amount of troops on the screen at one time, and I think it might actually be one of my largest Empire Total War battles. I think I might have a few from my American Republic campaign that top it off by just a bit thanks to reinforcements, but expect the frame rate to drop over the course of this battle. And of course, in keeping with the theme of this mod, it does end in a crash to desktop, but thankfully after the battle is basically over and I'm just mopping up artillery. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series so far. I am going to be taking suggestions once again for future Empire Total War or Napoleon Total War series, but they are going to be back burner for the time being, as I have a lot of series going on right now with Witcher and Fallout, and also trying to get the Viking campaign with Germ Gaming and Attila Total War ramped up once again. But still, if you guys have suggestions for a faction or a mod that you'd like to see me play, either for Empire Total War or Napoleon Total War, let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can get another series started here before too long. Also, if you guys want to see additional battles that are in this Civil War mod, I can look through and see what's left if you enjoy this one. Hope you guys do enjoy, and I will see you all next time. I'm trying to figure out if that artillery is actually reaching all across the map. It looks like it, and if so, can mine do that? Well, at least it's not accurate. Nope. Alright. That's pretty accurate. I'll deploy my howitzers and see if they can actually fire back. That's a pretty good range, but not quite what I'm looking for. I'll just limber them back up. All of this over a bridge. Ooh. Shells falling on the bridge. And the field. There we go. There's some return fire finally. I'm gonna send the lightning brigade off to the right. 12-pounder howitzers. Get on up there. What is going on over here? Is that a crossing right there? That might be a crossing. Yep. Looks like it. I might have focused too much on the bridge here for the initial deployment. I guess it kind of makes sense that I cover the right, though, if that second general is going to cover the left. And a bit of my right, too, it looks like. Who is retreating? One of the other general's lightning brigades has been hit really hard. Now you guys are dragoons, so I'm gonna have you dismount, at least this first unit, and fight on foot with your muskets. Okay, howitzers, let's do this. And these are my horses now. I don't think I'm going to be able to capture that high ground that I was hoping to. Dismount the dragoons and have them line up in the forest. And there's the first shots. There's a general out here by himself. That's a dumb AI move, but I'm gonna go ahead and just take it. Can I hit their cannons? Not quite, it looks like. I can hit these, though. Alright, troops, let's get in there quickly. We gotta fight uphill now. Well, this is about to get really nasty. Man, that artillery. I'm getting it too, though. Form a line, men. Form a line. Oh, those cannonballs are hitting so hard right now. Well, they've taken the high ground there. These my troops? These are my troops. How did you guys get back here? Where's my lightning brigade? Oh, you're way back here. Good grief. Now there's some good hits. There's that good old Empire Total War pathfinding. Getting stuck in that bottleneck. Charge the riverside. Oh wow, what a bloodbath. What a frame rate bloodbath. Let me just try and pull my troops out of this meat grinder right here. They're stuck on pathfinding, it looks like. A lot of good men are gonna die to pathfinding today. There goes the house in the center finally. Okay, dragoons, fall back, fall back. On the left. Irish Brigade, push up to the riverside right here. Napoleon, switch to shrapnel. Parrot rifle, switch to shrapnel. Howitzer, fire on their center. Ooh, my dragoons got overwhelmed here in the back. Hopefully they'll come back, but I lost track of them there for just a second in this massive fight. Trying to pull back from the river position here and get some distance. If we can actually maintain control of this crossing, I'm going to send my extra cavalry here across, but that's not in the bag just yet. Oh, we're in hand-to-hand fighting down here. "11 frames per second, guys, on a hexa-core CPU and a GTX 980 Ti. That's the power of mods cranking things up way past 11, I'd say. Take the hill, boys. Take the hill. Engineers, I want you guys crossing over wherever you can. Our general is fighting down here too. crossing, boys. Hold the crossing. Parrot rifles. Switch to canister shot. Fire across at the Confederates crossing the bridge here. Oh, wow. Talk about devastation there in the center. If we can just capture the hilltop here, this might be over pretty quickly, guys. They're starting to break bit by bit. Really not liking this river crossing, so I'm going to have my dragoons actually come back to the center as quickly as possible. Napoleons, switch to canister shot. Wow. The body count is just staggering.
Forward!
Let's hold the crest of the hill. You boys fall back. Thin the lines out. Thin the lines. And you guys pull up the hill. And let's seal this in here. This might be over pretty quickly, guys. That meat grinder at the center was just devastating. All cannons switch to round shot. Engage their howitzers here at the back. And I'll have our howitzers keep the pounding going here from the back. I think it's time to get these dragoons back on their horses. You guys mount back up. Buford's cavalry. Charge across the creek bed right there. Let's push the advantage and take out that artillery before we take any more severe losses. What a mess back here. Well, we've captured the heights at least. Speaking of losses, this other side of the river crossing right here, a bunch of Yankees that can't swim. Oh, they're militia. Should have trained them how to get out of quicksand. Oh, and they get trampled by their own cavalry. That's hilarious suffering right there. That loopy animation. They're charging with their light horse artillery. Interesting. Irish Brigade, go ahead and take the center. Howitzer, I'm going to push you up here in a second. Ah, there is still Confederate cavalry on our left. And their attempted intercept of our smaller brigade is stopped by the larger unit. There is some Confederate regular infantry right here that we need to hit now. As they're crossing the creek. There we go, we've taken the heights for sure now. Let's get you guys pushing up on those cannons because it's going to be a long march to get there. Oh look, the bridge is finally gone. Okay, my two remaining units of cavalry are going to charge right at these artillery pieces back here, including this Confederate Whitworth in the far back. I guess you guys are going to get over here first, though. So I'll change focus just a bit. There we go. They get some last volleys off, but that artillery is done for. They're firing point blank. And with that, guys, here comes the crash, so I'll see you all on the next video. And cut to black.